Hi, it's Sam from DIY Huntress. I don't know what day it is, what year it is, what month it is, what time it is. This house just feels like a vortex right now. There's so much going on in this house. It's just like a little overwhelming, like just a little bit. I literally don't even know, like as I'm recording this, what videos are on my channel right now and like where we are in the grand scheme of the Sam's first house renovation world. So yeah, here we are. Hi. Okay, so I am currently standing in the dining room area situation of the house. I say dining room a little lightly because this house is actually too tight for a formal dining room. So this is really like gonna be a breakfast nook that we're gonna eat all 3 meals of the day at. But it's totally gonna work. I'm really excited about it. I have lots of ideas for it. This room already looks so different than it did when we first bought the house. If you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go check out the kitchen demo video on my channel, as well as like the full house tour. It already looks like a completely different space. That being said though, there is still a ton of work to do in this space and I'm still waiting on other projects in the house to be finished. So I'm gonna get started on working in here so that we can actually have a proper place to eat some meals. Since we are moving in right now, there is a lot of stuff that can be done. I'm actually really excited to get my hands dirty and do some work in this dining space. So enough talking, friends. Let's get started. This project is sponsored by my amazing friends at DAP Products. All right, friends, so this is about to be a running theme in the next few videos where we do a quick and dirty recap of where we started, where we are, and all of that yummy stuff in between, because this so far has been a 10-month renovation journey and a lot has happened in 10 months. If you are a subscriber and you watch my videos on the regular, hi, how are you? I love you all so much. Then you will remember that this is what this house looked like when we purchased it 10 months ago. Basically, there was the living room and like a small dining room area and a kitchen, and there were lots of walls that were kind of subdividing all of the areas. And I had this vision of this big open concept space. So this renovation journey pretty much started with me convincing my dad to come over 10 months ago and help me demo all the walls in between the kitchen and the dining room and the living room. I'm not going to go into all like the nitty-gritty details of this demo project because I do have a whole video on this on my channel already, and I will link that below this video so you can check that out if you haven't already. I also contracted out to remove the load-bearing wall in between the living room and the kitchen, and oh my goodness, what a difference that made. Oh my goodness, check this out. Ah! Like, what? It looks so big in here. I can't even. I'm so excited. Now, in an effort to keep this short and sweet and to the absolute point, we're gonna skip ahead a few months because after that load-bearing wall was gone, new drywall was added, I added a new back door, and then I moved on to demoing the tile in the kitchen and the dining room area with my dad, and basically needed a new back after this because it was a wild ride. Now, we're going to cover more of this demo process in my kitchen planning video, which I hope to be able to share with you soon. But basically, once I removed all of the tile from the kitchen and the dining area, I was able to move on to a really exciting part of the project, which was new flooring. Okay, so I just got a new lens. Whoa, it's like legit. I feel like a real life vlogger now. Hey friends, it's Sam from DIY Huntress. Welcome to a day in the life. Okay, for real. So today is gonna be a very busy day. As you can see, there is a fridge in my living room, but you know what else is in my living room? Check this out. There is flooring in my living room. Say what? I really wanted to match the original hardwood floors that were in this house through the entire kitchen. That was kind of just the, I feel like almost non-negotiable thing I wanted to do. I don't know if you could see this. The original flooring in this house is not a standard size. It's actually 1.5 inch wide red oak planks, and those are not readily available, but I found a local guy who not only was able to find the flooring I needed, he delivered it last week. It's been here for a week, and he's also going to install it through the entire kitchen, and he's going to refinish all of the floors on the first floor of my house. So I'm very excited about this, but he texted me yesterday and said he wants to come tomorrow, which means I have so much to do. So I'm gonna get started on clearing out, obviously, things in the living room, which is gonna be interesting because I don't think this fridge is fitting through any doorway except the back door. But that's my problem. It's not yours, don't worry, I'll figure something out. there's so much to do because he's redoing pretty much the entire first floor minus this hot mess express going on, where we are storing just a ton of stuff for the construction portion of the project. But in the meantime, there is so much to do, like so much to do. So I'm gonna go get started on that, and I'm gonna make some movie magic happen for all of you at home. See you later, friends. So the original plan was to show you the floors after they were installed, but clearly I covered them up immediately because I knew that if I didn't, I would 100% ruin them. And once they were covered up, I then moved on to priming and painting all of the fresh drywall in the dining room and the kitchen. And since it's an open concept space, I did want to go with the same color that I used in the living room to make all of the rooms feel like they tied in together. One other thing to note is that there were a couple other projects that happened in this space. Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassing. At this point in time, like staining the back door this gorgeous walnut color and also replacing that radiator with something a little smaller. But that being said, I think we're all caught up to where we started at the beginning of this video, so let's do it. P.S. Watching this back just reminds me that renovating and moving is essentially just moving piles of things to different corners until they find a place to live. Am I right? So before I get like too excited about doing anything, I really want to move this outlet. It's up pretty high. As you can see, I'm like standing here. I'm not very tall, but I'm standing here and it's like waist high. I want to drop this closer to the ground so that I can plug things in like under the table, and that when we're sitting at our table, we're not like sitting up against this outlet. This thing is super janky actually. The box has to be changed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go shut the power off downstairs, which is great because it's still bright outside so I can still see. Shut the power off on the breaker, and then I'm going to basically cut this old box out, cut a new hole in the wall down below, move all the wires down there with a new upgraded box, and then I'm gonna patch this hole. I think that makes sense. Yeah, sure, sounds good. Okay, let's go. All right, so new outlet box is in. I ended up having to cut down a lot further than I wanted to because they're attached to like a metal clip I had to cut off. So I'm gonna close this up. I have to get a different outlet for this box. I need to get something called a GFCI outlet. This actually doesn't have a grounding wire. At some point I'm gonna have my electrician put one in, but for now I'm gonna put in a GFCI outlet to protect it. But I don't have one of those on hand, so I'm gonna keep the power off on this side of the house since I don't need it right now. The lights still work without it. And I'm gonna patch everything up, give it some fresh coats of paint compound, which I have right here. Boop. So patch this up, and then I actually wanted to show you how to patch this up as well, but when my contractor was here working on something else in the house, he was kind enough to already put a coat on, so we will put a second coat of compound over this tape, and then we're gonna let everything dry and we're gonna move on to something else. Ooh, let's do it. So to cover the gaping hole that I had to make in my wall to move this outlet, I used a patch of drywall and taped everything up, and then used literally one of my favorite products in the entire world, DAP's Drydex Joint Compound. I absolutely love this stuff. It is a lightweight compound that goes on pink and then it dries white so that you know exactly when it is ready for a good sanding. And since I love a good multitask, while it dried, I decided to frame out the existing window in the dining room area and also add some trim around that and the door. Now, after letting everything dry overnight, I came back in with a sanding sponge the next day and just sanded down all of my walls flat. I'm not gonna lie though, I did miss a couple of little spots here and there, but instead of doing an entire coat of joint compound, I used DAP's Dry Dex Dry Time Indicator spackling to just make those tiny little repairs. Love this stuff as well. It's the same thing as a joint compound. It goes on pink and dries white when it's ready to sand, so there's never any guessing game. Once that was dry though, I then sanded that and then primed and painted the walls. One thing I also did while everything was drying is something that I did in the living room as well. And if you missed my makeover, please go check out that video. I'm really proud of all the work that happened in that space. But anyway, all of my windows are custom sizes and they also are not in the best condition, which makes things a little difficult because we just don't have the budget to replace them right now. So instead I decided to deep clean all of the screens and also give them a nice light couple coats of primer and paint and reuse those in the space. And while replacing the windows is not in my budget, painting them is, so I did decide to also paint the windows to just give them a nice, fresh, updated look. Once those windows were looking so fresh and so clean, I was able to let them dry, and then I installed the screens back on the windows, and honestly, spray painting the screens black made a pretty big impact. Now, last thing I wanted to do on this particular day was caulk all of the seams in between the moldings and the walls, and I did this using Alex Flex Premium Molding and Trim Sealant. This stuff is awesome. It's paint ready in about 30 minutes, so I was able to do all of my trim painting and touch-up painting on the same day that I sealed everything, which meant that it was time to reveal the beautiful floors. Okay, are you ready to see this floor? I don't think I've shown the floor yet. I'm ready to show the floor. Let's show the floor! I'm legit gonna start gauging the home renovation process by how much of the wood floors get to be exposed after each project. So judging by the looks of it, making good progress in the dining room. But now look how good it looks. It looks so good. I had them match kitchen floor to the original hardwood floors from the 1950s and then had them stain all the floors. So this floor continues through the whole kitchen as well. I cannot wait to show you what that looks like, but I'm gonna have to wait for things to be delivered still. I almost cannot wait to like expose the floors as much as I cannot wait to get kitchen cabinets. So, ooh, all right, let's clean these floors up and then we're gonna get the dining table in tonight. So I have been hyping up this dining room table since the beginning of this video, and there is good reason for that, and that is because my rad friend Danny from DIY Danny came all the way to Long Island from Canada to help me build the dining room table for this dining nook. And if you haven't seen the video, I highly suggest you do. I will link it below this video in the video description. Go check it out, go give her a follow. She is one of my favorite humans. All right, so now that the table is in its resting spot and looks amazing, it was time for some other things like lights. Wow, okay. I don't know how I accumulated so much stuff in this space since the last time we were all in here together. I have a weight bench in here now, you know, so I'm gonna start lifting weights in my kitchen, and ladder will come in handy today, but there's a lot of junk here, so I gotta do some cleaning up. I have been MIA for a couple days because I had a pretty bad migraine for a couple days, but I am back in action, snacking away, catching up on life and caloric intake. Why am I? Oh, okay, so I'm losing my mind. I purchased a light for above the table that I'm very excited about. So I'm going to install that today, which would be great because it's gonna kind of dictate like where the table is actually gonna live full time. And yeah, I also need to make a slight adjustment to this table. It kind of like wings out a little too much over there. So I'm gonna trim that up, get this light up. Yeah, then after that, I pretty much just have to order my chairs. I'm gonna build a custom dining bench that goes right there. But we're making some moves in here. We're making moves, so I'm gonna convince myself to put down the snacks and install a lighting fixture. Let's do it. So I knew that there were going to be some spatial challenges in trying to create a formal dining area in this house because things are pretty tight, but I was able to get a really beautiful, long, industrial looking light to ground this entire space, and putting that in was amazing because then I was able to spatially figure out where things needed to go or what parts of the table I needed to trim. These lights just made this whole project feel like it was no longer a construction zone, which was awesome. So moving on to some decor items, I spoke about this in the living room video, but the windows in this house are pretty broken. They have these built-in shades, and I really don't want to open up the windows to access them because I'm afraid I won't be able to put them back together. So I just hung a double shade to add some warmth, and I think it looks awesome. And once that was done, it was time to focus on building the custom bench with my buddy Chris from Cowdog.
It's me, Sam from DIY Huntress.
So I seriously have the best maker friends ever. Chris was literally in town for exactly 24 hours, and while he was here, I put him to work helping me build a bench for the dining room in one day. This video will be on my channel next, so definitely make sure to check it out and go subscribe to Chris for some real life woodworking. He is legit. Speaking of other maker friends being amazing, I need to give a giant shout out to my friend Charlotte from At Charlotte's House because she literally came to my house and helped me style this entire dining room. I cannot wait to show it to you all. It looks so legit, and she convinced me to put things in here that I would have never thought of buying. Oh, I'm so excited about it. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, I did decide to make some handmade propagation stations for this project, and I have posted a short on my channel with a quick tutorial, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But friends, without further ado, after 10 months of hard work in this space, I am so excited to welcome you to our cozy new dining nook. I need to clean this camera. It's like filled with sawdust. I'm a really bad YouTuber. All right, friends, time for a hangout sesh. I honestly used to be so intimidated about sitting down and hanging out on camera with all of you, but now I really look forward to this because it really forces me to take this moment in all of the wildness of renovating my first house to really just reflect and take it slow and talk about how I feel about the process. And as a psychologist, I love that. And I need to do more of that. So I think I'm gonna start making this the norm, or trying to make this the norm with more of my projects moving forward, because I really have been enjoying this time at the end of each video to hang out with all of you and talk about, you know, how I feel about these projects. So that being said, where I want to start with this is I have always promised to keep it very real with all of you about how long these things are taking me. And the reality is I started the process of renovating this now open concept living dining kitchen space in October, and it is almost September. So that means for the past 10, 11 months, I have been hustling in here. And even though YouTube sometimes makes it feel like things happen overnight, big projects do not happen overnight. Also, case in point why I haven't shared anything about the kitchen, because I'm not gonna lie, 10 months later, there are still things I am waiting for to be delivered for this kitchen. So anyway, what I wanna focus on is the fact that I am honestly obsessed with this dining room space. I can't really put into words how it feels to walk through my front door, and this is the first thing you see basically, and it just feels so special, so special. This room just has so much love in it, and I feel it every single time I look at it, or I sit in here and do work or have my morning coffee or eat dinner with Chris. From the custom dining room table that Danny and I built together back in November, to the custom bench, which by the way, my buddy Chris was literally in town for 24 hours and he helped me build this bench while he was here. And I will have a video for that out very soon, I promise, but I just want to like put into context how rad my friends are. And I mean, can we talk about the final vibe and the styling of this room? Charlotte came into town for a day to help my vision come to life in here, and I mean, homegirl convinced me to buy pink pillows. Like, I would have never personally purchased pink pillows because I'm not a pink pillow person, but the second that she put these pillows in this room, it just tied the living room and the dining room together in a way that I've been craving since the living room's been done. Also, not mad about the fact that she convinced me to put real food on the table for these photos and these final shots, because, like, you know how I feel about snack time. Let's be real. Yes, I am so stoked about this space. And it's funny because in the living room video, I spoke about how that project like didn't feel 100% done, and how there are still things I want to revisit in that space and custom make for the space and redo in that space once we are comfortable and my shop is set up. But when I look at this dining room space, this space feels perfect. It just feels perfect. The energy is amazing. I can feel the love from my friends and like my dad and all of the people who helped this space come to life. And you know, my biggest concern when we moved into this house was, are we gonna have a spot to be able to host people and eat dinners, because it was very tight. And this turned out so much better than I thought it would. And I am just so excited about the future dinners and future get-togethers that are about to happen around this table. So I am just kind of at a loss for words for how I really feel about this space, but just know it feels special. So even though the dining space is done, even though the living room space is like 90% there is still a lot of work that has to happen in this open concept space. Obviously the kitchen is what it is right now, but it is what it is. I'm just taking things day by day. I know a lot of people have been asking about the kitchen, and I promise you I'm working as hard and as fast as I can to get that kitchen done and to get some content out to you. But because I'm waiting on a couple of moving pieces, it's really hard to be able to edit together like cohesive videos for the kitchen right now. And I want to make sure that when I am sharing that journey, I'm sharing it in a way that makes sense, in a way where you all don't have to wait 10 months for the next kitchen video to come out. So I promise that I'm really hustling in that space, and there will be kitchen content soon. That being said, definitely make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already and you're interested in seeing some more of that content. If you are subscribed already, thank you for being awesome all the time. Please put on those notification bells so that you do not miss a project. I have also started posting a couple of weekend shorts on my channel as well, so I hope that you'll check those out, and I hope that you are loving those as well. Just very quick and easy projects that can be done in a weekend or less. It's not gonna replace the long form content, I promise, but sometimes, not gonna lie, like there are certain projects that don't really make the final edit because the video is so long as it is. So I figured, why not share some of those little projects I don't get a chance to share in the actual video as shorter content. Why not? Let's try it out, right? What's growth without trying new things? In all of it though, I have to say thank you for just being so awesome, being supportive. I feel the love from you all on the regular. I am so stoked that you guys are as excited about this journey in this house as I am. I could not do any of this without you, like 100% totally mean it, could not do any of this without you. So thank you for being you. There is still so much work to be done, and as much as I'd love to hang out with you forever, I do have to get moving on some other projects. So I will see you all very soon with a new project, but until then, friends, thanks for being awesome and happy DIYing.